In this special end of the year episode of Did Y'all See, we're talking about some of the biggest stories of 2015. Rachel Dolezal pretending to be black, Bill Cosby and the tons of rape allegations, the Black Lives Matter movement, and Ciara, Future, and Russell, the love triangle. Get into all this tea on Did Y'all See. Welcome to this special episode of Did Y'all See, where we're discussing the biggest stories of 2015. First up on the list is Bill Cosby. Now, these accusations about Bill Cosby and not only his marital affairs, but his raping of women has been going on for at least since the 80s. But I think everything kind of blew up in end of 2014, beginning of 2015. So there was one woman who came out again saying what he had done to her. Beverly Johnson came out, a slew of other women. I think now the number is like over 50. And then a deposition was released where Bill Cosby himself spoke about obtaining quaaludes to give to women to, he used the word have sex with them, but the fact that quaaludes, render you kind of subconscious, I don't know if that's clearly not consensual sex, that's rape. So there was a huge debate in the black community about, whether this was tearing down, whether we should believe the women, whether this was tearing down one of our icons. And so I guess kind of like want to know what you guys thought about the whole situation, how it all unfolded. At what point that you were serious, like, okay, you know what, this is just not. At what point did you believe the women over Bill Cosby, or do you believe the women over Bill Cosby at this point?
Being that there were so many women accusing him, I was like, there was definitely a possibility. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't so hell-bent on it one way or the other. Mm-hmm. It was just like, all right, well, we'll see what comes out. So when the deposition came out, it was like, okay, this just confirmed what everybody, how everybody already felt. Mm-hmm. As far as like the tearing down an icon, your icon's a rapist. Like what, or an alleged rapist, like what do you want people to do? Ignore it because he's black and he's accomplished a lot? Like what are we supposed to do? It's silly. So I definitely don't, subscribe to that argument, so.
When the news broke, I wasn't surprised by it, only because growing up, I remember watching the news with my parents and someone would accuse him of sexual assault or rape, and then it would go away. Mm-hmm. And then it would come back up, and then it would go away. So when the news broke, again, years later, I was like, okay, like, who doesn't know that? Mm-hmm. As for people saying that the media shouldn't have reported on it because, like Jasmine said, he's such an icon, I think that's bullshit, because at the end of the day, we're going to have so many other icons after him. And furthermore, like, I didn't like a few years ago, he was, coming for all black people. Yeah. Like, if you buy your children Jordans, if you name them Sharquisha, if you name, like, just silly nonsense. Right. Yeah. It was like a lot of respectability politics for someone who really, Bill.
I think what I learned about everything was just it did show two very ugly sides. Like the side of people who just kind of feel like, we need to uphold our black, legends no matter what, even if they're out here harming our own people and other women, women of other races too, stuff like that. But then I also saw the other side where I felt like there were people who literally just were quick to believe it without any kind of facts. So you kind of have to be careful with what you just go on just because a number of people said something. Like there still weren't facts up to the point where the Quaalude deposition came out, and then it was like, oh, okay, people just needed facts, and other people just, it just showed two very ugly sides to me, and I just think it's a shame. I mean, that someone who we did uphold and we did think was, not that you ever have to be perfect, but when you're out here raping people, I mean, that's just like,
over
and
decades.
You're raping people, and then you have this wife who's just kind of like, whatever. Yeah. I mean, like, you're not even thinking of her, right? And you're not thinking of anything, your children or anything like that. It's just very, it's just sad. That's all I can say about it.
It's important for us to really question, like, why is it so hard for us to give women the benefit of the doubt, just in society in general? Like, anytime a woman comes forward saying, several women come forward saying a certain thing, there's always this thing like, oh, well, what was she wearing? Or what did she do? Or where was she? And how did this go down? And so I just think that, to me, that was an important message. And not only just for the victims that Bill Cosby had raped, but just women in general. Like, there are so many women who don't talk about their assaults because they're scared of not being believed. So to me, that was like the bigger issue. Like, we really have to do some work on just hearing women's stories. You know what I'm saying? Another huge story from this year was Miss Rachel Dolezal. Now, it's just comical at this point. All of this was just a big mess. Rachel tried to just say that she was black for a very long time. Her parents came out saying that she was not. You know, her son that she claimed was her biological son was not. You know, now she's pregnant these days, a year later, and she said she's going to name her son after Langston Hughes. She recently said that her lace front game was better than Lonnie Love's. So, I mean, she's a character. So what did y'all think about this story? What did you think about it at the beginning, and what do you think about it now?
I tried to be empathetic at first. I really did. And I really don't even know why. But I tried to be very, like, empathetic with Rachel and sympathetic. But Rachel's crazy. And I feel like she's the extreme version of just white people who, like, kind of glorify black culture. I mean, I guess it's different from, like, someone who tries to, like, steal black, you know, things from black culture and try to make it their own, this new trend, whatever. But, because I guess she was fighting and protesting. But at the end of the day, I just think Rachel's crazy, and she should probably, or she has mental issues and she needs to, you know, seek some kind of help. I kind of look at her as a bit of a clown.
I think Rachel, you know what, is a person who thinks that if any black person tries to correct her about the fact that she is white and she has this privilege, regardless of, you know, what she's done for the black community, she wants to then prove that she is a better black person. She wears a better lace front. She cooks a better fried turkey or chicken. She, you know what I mean? Like, I'm better at being black, and I'm not even black. And I think that's very insulting. So, you know, just like Jazzy said, like, you just gotta pray for Rachel because something is not all the way right.
From the beginning, I just thought it was weird. Because people don't do this. You don't just come out and, like, go that hard and say that you're something of another race. But at the same time, when I read that Broadly interview, it's a very long interview, but it was good, I felt like she is kind of like a sympathetic character in a way, because it's like she, if it's everything in that is factual, she has been through kind of a bit of a lot, and she has been kind of like raising her adopted brothers and sisters for quite some time, and I think in trying to help them have a connection to their blackness, maybe she kind of threw herself in there too, like, oh, hold up, I could do this too. I like all of this blackness. And I feel kind of bad in a way that she couldn't just be honest about the fact that she was white, because I think it's hurt her a great deal, because she can't even get a job. She's just doing hair part-time. But I do feel a little bit more.
I couldn't just gloss over that.
What?
She's doing hair part-time.
She is. She doing all the weaves, all the quick weaves, everything. Yes, because she's been doing hair since she was young. She's been doing her sister's hair.
I don't know if I think she deserves a job, because I don't know what company could, with like good faith, hire a liar. You know what I'm saying? Like, you spent years lying. So I think she should write a book, like tell people what really happened. I think it'll do well, and then maybe she can live off that. I don't really know what's going on with her, but like it is some type of instability. So last year, Future and Ciara broke up, called off their engagement and everything shortly after she had their son, baby Future. Ciara released a song, I Bet You Stop Loving Me, or Start Loving Me, or whatever. I didn't care for it. But
I bet you start loving me.
Oh, I don't even know the words. I bet you start loving me soon as I start loving someone else. Somebody better than you. Because it was everywhere.
It's on VH1.
It's like an earworm. Anyway, and I usually love a good breakup song, but that is not what we're here today. So, Future Ciara broke up, and he didn't really say much about it. But then when he did speak, it was so inappropriate, so rude. It was just like, dude, what? Why are you mad? Why are you mad? So then he also had an issue with the fact that Russell Wilson was around his son so early in the game when he hadn't met him. What do you guys think about how the way Future handled the situation? Just the whole shebang.
Initially, I felt like it was too early. I was like, this is too soon. Early? Ciara bringing the baby around Russell. I'm like, it's really soon. Y'all don't know where this is going or whatever. But after like just hearing more about their story and like the way they felt about their relationship and how seriously they were taking things, they're, practicing celibacy and all of that. I'm like, okay, y'all kind of have marriage in mind. And when she came out and said that she tried to contact Future to have him meet Russell, and he didn't want any parts of it, she was like, what am I supposed to do? Not live my life?
Right.
So, I mean, Future's a fuckboy. And I don't know. He's a clown. And he just kind of proved that. And hopefully Ciara has learned her lesson to leave these type of dudes alone. It seems that she has. Okay. Russell is a great catch. I like them together. And I can admit that I was wrong, because I thought this was going to be another failed relationship, and it was going to be over in 2 minutes, and then Ciara was going to be putting out another breakup song.
Future is that fuckboy that you date, right? And is like a complete clown afterwards, and you can't even be hurt because the fuckery is so real. You know what I'm saying?
Just been ignoring it.
Exactly, and it's like Comedy Central. And listening to his album, it was a breakup album for him. Every song was about Ciara, and then
was it really,
girl? And then the outro was a 15-minute. I may be over exaggerating on 15 minutes, but it was a long ass epilogue about their relationship. You know, just literally, like, y'all gotta listen to, like, him just being like, yeah, you know, and, like, well, you know, he didn't want the Kardashians and, you know, all the cameras or whatever at the wedding. And, you know, he was finna still go to the strip club.
You were understanding the words that were coming out of his mouth?
Absolutely. I understand.
You don't speak English, you know.
Trapanese, right? But, you know, he was talking about, like, basically he wanted to do what he wanted to do as a married man. And obviously... Yeah, like, you know, like, not about, like, cheating, but, like, you know, a lot of married men are not going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go to the strip club and do whatever. Like, he still wanted to do that. And obviously, Ciara, like, that was not her vision.
I don't mind, like, fuck up some commas and all that kind of stuff.
Where you at?
Where you at? Your man, all that kind of stuff. Because I don't know what he's saying. And that doesn't bother me whatsoever. It's like, I'll be like, hi, yeah. But once he starts actually talking, this is the case with most, like, rappers and people in general who you don't know what they're saying on wax, and they start talking in real life. You're like, ooh, you could have kept quiet.
Ignorant as hell.
Right, ignorant as hell. Because the way that he was doing her was just so... I mean, her way of going back at him with, like, I bet... was this very, like, you know, high school, like, I bet you start loving me, what? And he's over here like, when we had sex. Like, very specific, petty stuff that's, like, low-key disgusting. I'm like, nigga, I never said nothing like that about you. As far as how things moved after the fact with Russell Wilson, I think they're a cute couple. I'm not going to jump off the bridge for them because they haven't made it to no real mark yet. So I just want her to be careful in general because she loves to be out here.
She loves love.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with loving love. Love is a beautiful thing. But when love has bitten you in the ass a few times, it's time to, like, bag back a little bit. Bag back just a little bit. Be a little bit more quiet about your situation. And, you know, as far as the baby coming around, I mean, I don't know, in everyday life, I think it's nice if the person who is the father of your child can meet whoever it is that will be around said child, because it's just, you know, it's just weird if your child goes around if your child goes around their father like, yeah, so Daddy Russell was like, and you're like, who the fuck? But if you don't make that effort, I don't know what you expect. If he doesn't make the effort, then I don't know. Then you can't beg her to come around.
You preaching on today.
You can't beg her to come around and do nothing. I've tried. I'm gonna go with my life. Somebody got to take this baby to the mall, so we're going to do it together. And you can feel however you're going to feel. And that's how it is. And, you know, they're both had, I think this was meant for them because they both had a lot of happiness and success. Now they're not together. Yes.
So this year, we had to keep talking about these Black Lives Matter incidents of police brutality, of people being killed by the police. You know, I had my phone out because I want to call the names. There was Freddie Gray, Laquan McDonald, Sandra Bland. And then there were assaults, the girl who was assaulted in McKinney, Texas, the girl who was assaulted in Spring Valley, South Carolina by the police officers. So, I mean, it was just a lot. It seemed like every week it was somebody's name, a new hashtag. This weekend I saw, like, Mario Woods, this guy who was shot basically by a firing squad of police officers. Basically, he was up against the wall and it was 10 police officers shooting at him.
And the video is insane.
I couldn't watch it.
It's crazy.
I can't watch any more live death videos. But, I just kind of want to know what you guys felt about the year. Like, how did it make you feel from a psychological, emotional perspective, you know?
I feel like this stuff had already been going on, but it's just been really, like, thrusted into the spotlight. Right. And it's just, like, kind of when you feel like we've made so much progress, but when you see the state of this country, the fact that people are like literally getting away with murder, it's heartbreaking. And it's just like I had moments this year where I'm like, if I had to leave the U.S., where would I go? Because you don't feel safe. You know, people often speak about how the anxiety that they feel when they're in the presence of a police officer. You know, you're in Walmart and, you know, a police officer stops by. You don't know when stuff is about to go left.
It happens so often that fuck what so-and-so was doing. You don't need to shoot somebody 50 times. No, because it makes no sense to me. Like, okay, if so-and-so was stealing a block of miles and... You know what I mean? Like, so many white people. Okay, I will go left.
If we can't even feel comfortable in the presence of police when we're not doing anything, then something is clearly wrong. And I'm just sick of all of it. I'm sick of young people getting shot up a bunch of times, even when they're walking away from conflict and situations with police. Even if you want to take me down, fine, but why do you have to shoot me so many times? Why do you have to do me like I'm an animal in the fucking street, like about to like knife somebody up or like bite someone or something? It's ridiculous.
What people don't really understand is that racism is an illness and it infects. So it infects the people who are perpetuators of it and it affects the victims of it, both. So mentally, you get mentally and spiritually tired and people start acting out. And the country is just becoming a scary place to live in when you don't know who's who and who's gonna do what and who's gonna pop off, black or white, because everyone is just tired. So I don't know, man. It's just a lot. We hope you enjoyed this special end of the year episode of Did Y'all See? We'll see you in 2016. And if you miss us over the holidays, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/MadameNoire.